Extreme Sports Series Canadian Motocross Championships. Sponsored by FMF. Feel the power. Castrol. And Thor Motocross Apparel. Distributed exclusively by Parts Canada.
Here comes number 8, Lance Smale on the KTM. Had a problem yesterday. Didn't make his flame flight first practice on this brand new track for the 250s here in the National Series. Travers and Coster standing by one of the more intimate tracks you're ever going to see in motocross. This is the continuation of the 250 Nationals, the start of the brand new series in the 125 East. Brian set up this extremely intimate track here in Quebec.
Very picturesque setting here, gorgeous track. It's almost like a GP in Europe. You've got so much elevation changes, these up and downs. The riders are stoked. They love these elevation changes. The whoop section here, look at this. Hagstead just flying. Oh, Dubé, there's going to be an intense day of racing. You don't want to miss it.
Interesting note, though, they put a lot of water on this track last night in the hope that the sun was going to come out. We wake up this morning, we got a heavy mist. It's extremely muddy out there.
You know what? This mist is going to leave. This is just like yesterday morning. It's probably going to get sunny in about an hour or so. They did water the heck out of it. But you know what? Muddy in practice usually means perfect all day. They do have the facilities here to touch it up if it gets dusty.
Interesting note, we were talking to some of the riders yesterday, and the word that was coming up was intimidated. This track intimidates me. So the guys that have put a few laps on this track are going to have the advantage over the other ones.
Absolutely. Practice, practice, practice. There's so much going on in this track, nobody's going to get bored. And it does take a while to remember what's over the next rise and the next corner. After yesterday's practice, most of these guys got it dialed.
Morgan and Waugh probably the fastest in the 250s yesterday during practice, although Phil Lawrence looked very sharp in the whoops. Let's quickly get to the 125 East. I want to talk about Ryan Gould yesterday winning his qualifier handily. He's looking good going to that 125 East.
Absolutely. He's got a lot of experience. He's had a national number 5 and a national number 6. A lot of the guys he's racing against are young guys, real good up-and-comers. Goldie, though, I think we're going to see him in the top 5. Holman's is the favorite. This is his home province. He's got a lot of laps on this track, and he's an awesome rider. 125 is going to be really good. Treadwell on the KTM. There's a few surprises in that class. Ryan Lockhart and Ian Hayden. So I think it's going to be a real fun day of racing.
Don't ever count Derek Fisher, too, in that Morgan Racing Suzuki. That guy's going to be hot as nails. Quickly, let's go to Goldie. He's going to set up the track for us.
There he is, Simon Holmes, number 14, number 1 in the 125 class on the East Coast here. Here we are at Joliette Motocross Park, the very first time we come to this venue on the East Coast. Well, let me tell you, this track is awesome. I was out there in practice yesterday having the time of my life. The elevation changes here are great. The track dirt, it's just great. The tackiness, we had a little bit of rain on Friday, so it's making the dirt just choice. Now, we got 2 different types of whoop sections on this track. There's a whoop section where you stutter across, and a whoop section where there's a rhythm, so this track is definitely keeping the riders on their toes. It's going to make for some awesome racing this weekend.
All right, let's go to the Castro leaderboard, see where the boys are sitting at the halfway point. The 250s, of course, Waugh and Morgan up front. Look at that battle for second place, though. Smale, DeHaan, Hagstead, and Pedersen. Love in Israel, 10th.
The halfway injury report, we all know about Lance. Biggest story, Chuck Mesley, separated shoulder. Dr. Tim Deacon's giving him the okay to ride in about 2 weeks.
Hey, Brian, Goldie was out in practice this morning. Little muddy. Let's detail the track.
Yeah, I think they overwatered it. This is the big step up. That's a very steep face. Hard to really grasp just how steep that is with the helmet cam. Dips into a section where no spectators are allowed. Really great to get a sneak peek back here. Come around, nice loose soil, but look at this. A very technical tabletop into a huge downhill. Look at the ruts forming there. It's going to open up as the race progresses. There's an exterior shot of Goldie as he comes down yet another one of these Joliette hills into the Garnet corner. You can just see lots of options here. It's so wide, the guys will be able to just pin it. As this gets rutted up, though, it'll get more technical throughout the day. One of the greatest parts are our 2 whoop sections. Here's the rhythm whoop section that Goldie's going through, leading up to the mechanics area. This is a big, fast right-hand sweeper. The mechanics are going to be hanging out. Drop down into the middle spectator section, and Goldie has a big slip, showing that even the best riders go down occasionally.
Let's talk about riding the 125 East with the #1 plate in your bike this year. Talk to me how you're going to be riding differently this year as compared to last year.
Well, for sure, you know, when you get a #1 plate, everybody's looking at you, and you're always like, you're the one who's supposed to win when the number one plays. So, you know, the only difference is the pressure and the people are looking at you. But, you know, I'm going to do my own thing and ride my race, and every lap after every lap, and doing the, you know, focus hard, and that's it.
Oh, we'll see if our champ can repeat. Michael Island, great shot at John Nelson, rolling him up. There's our rookie of the year last year, number 26, Joel Serretz. Goldie waving to his mechanic. Hey, let's get this underway. First 125, Joliette coming at you.
He's doing the same thing on the jumps, you know. So, I mean, it's just mainly getting a good start and finding some really good lines, being creative out there.
This is the first 125 moto in the 125E Series. Brian René Trottier, head referee for CMRC Quebec. 30 board up.
This is great. This is an exciting start. Some guys were worried about the speed coming into this left-hander. I think it's a pretty cool layout myself.
Treadwell looks like he's got a good jump. Look at this, baby. They're coming around the corner and down into the valley. Great start for Treadwell. I saw Goldie in the mix as well. It seems they come around the corner. Ian Hayden with the whole shot.
Simon Bazile, local boy, in second, and there were no crashes in that start, proving that it is reasonably safe. Hayden, though, no surprise to me. He handily won the provincial in Ontario last week. Hadn't raced all year and just went out and smoked the boys.
Lightning fast start for that KTM pilot. I thought I saw Treadwell. There's Treadwell in third. Holman's in fourth. Why is it that Bazile, every time we come to Quebec racing, that gets a great start?
He's just got great reflexes. He gets himself psyched up. A big part of the start's mental. There's our guy, Ryan Gold, number 40. He's just made a pass, puts him into fifth behind Holman's.
Beautiful start for, what about a pair of KTMs up here? All of a sudden, starting to dominate.
Well, you know what? Now it's called the Big Five. It's not just the Big Four anymore. KTM's made it the Big Five. Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Honda. KTM now part of the program.
Holman's into third. It looked like Treadwell was in second through that first whoop section, the stutter whoop section.
Look at Lockhart. Great move on Bazile after the whoops on the inside. Lockhart been riding awesome in the 250s. This is his chance to shine in the 125s.
That puts Lockhart into fourth place right now as they go through that rhythm section there. Again, Hayden out in front. Excellent start.
You can see the track starting to dry up in places. Still a bit one line there. You can see in the center where it's getting lighter, a little drier, but the ruts really are going to factor into this day.
Number 40, Ryan Gold in fifth place. Behind him, 22. That's Ryan Turnbright for the machine, as well as Mike Island.
Yeah, they sorely missed Chuck Mesley. He's also machine pilot. Young Jason Chatwood there looks like he's trying to find neutral on that big 250F. As Goldie has his mix full of Bazile.
As they're coming through that rhythm section that we talked about earlier on, let's see the lines. Goldie with a nice line and gets by Bazile.
Yeah, he stayed nice and low there. That was inevitable. Great pass for him. Derek Fisher didn't get the greatest start. He's starting to mount in charge here in this moto.
That's right, working up on Mike Island. Now Ryan Turk moving up on Bazile. Let's see the lines. Turk's got some speed on the outside with a nice pass. Knifed it in and took the line away.
Bazile slowly moving back. There's our leader, Hayden. Look at the gap on Treadwell. Teammates, these guys have just pulled a huge lead on the field, Mark.
You mentioned this before, Brian. Interesting how that track is starting to dry up. Some huge ruts for that straightaway. Derek Fisher through the whoops. Looks like he gets by Island. Now he's got Turk in his sights. Boy, when Fisher gets on the charge, Brian, look out.
Yeah, the pin falls out. He's like a grenade, man. He just goes off. He's an awesome rider. Uh-oh, we got someone not too happy.
That's number 39, Derek Arnold, with a problem in the mud. He's got some issues.
He's walking away from the whole deal. Fisher again now, mounts a chart, passes Goldie. That puts him up into fourth place, Mark.
Yeah, he really was carrying a lot of speed through that rhythm section. Goldie just kind of slowed down, looked like he was trying to find his line. But it's all about the ruts down there, Brian. They're really deep.
Well, I know Goldie's great in the ruts. Mitch Cook, looks like his day's over in the first 125 of the year.
Oh, Treadwell just about lost it on that rut there. He is in first place right now, Brian.
Yeah, we've just been informed that Hayden went down in the back, slid out, and got tangled with a tree. We'll see if he can salvage anything. But this is the greatest race so far in this moto. Lockhart and Holman's coming into the big whoop section.
Yeah, these are the Thor whoops. Let's see the lines. Look at Lockhart on the gas. Holman's with a couple of issues through there, but Brian, that's a super long whoop section. And look at that. Just railing that burn by the FM that corner.
That is such a great corner there, that left-hander. The guys are just busting through there. It looks like they're having a good time. Here we have a replay of Lockhart. You see the different lines come in, and he jumps quite a bit further into the whoops. Gets a really good edge on Holman's, and just makes a really great fair and square pass in the whoops.
Yeah, it's all about carrying your speed and just clipping the top. Look at that. Some problems for Chad Johnson. Mike Island, though, maintaining the drive.
Island just shoved him right out of the way, showed him a bit of shoulder. Nice move for Island. Look at this. The speeds are starting to pick up now in that rhythm section as this track dries out.
Yeah, that was our leader, number 7, Mike Treadwell, in some great lines through there. Look at Island cross. Oh, look at Island cross. Swept Turek across. And then Johnson on the inside takes care of two.
Island had that pass in the bag. He was going way faster than those guys. Puts himself down. That's got to be frustrating for Island. What a great moto he's been having.
As Holmans gets by Lockhart to move back into second place, he likes that sweeper down at the bottom of that hill there, Brian.
That off camber, very difficult. You can't really see it on camera, but the guys really got to slow down. And we have a Pro-Am rider. That's Bobby Thompson, way off track. Shows you what can happen in this sport. You have to be so precise.
No doubt about it. We talked about how thick those ruts are. You got to get in them and just ride it out. With Johnson now getting by those other two Yamaha pilots, moving up on Goldie. Goldie's got some issues. Johnson overjumps him. But Goldie hangs it out in that rut and just gets on the gas.
Goldie looked like he was trying to block his line and then he got all sideways. Johnson had to kind of change his trajectory in midair. That could have been disastrous for them both.
So that means that Holman and Treadwell are now on their last lap. As we get back to that battle with Goldie and Johnson, let's see the lines. Johnson goes in. Goldie takes the high line. Let's see if he gets the drive.
There's a lapper there.
Oh, Goldie doubles through, hangs it out in that rut, and passes Johnson. It looked like Johnson got a little sideways on that jump.
These two guys going at it pretty hard. Closing stages. Treadwell, he's on his last lap. Got a nice cushion over Holman.
He certainly does. And he took that high line coming in there, getting the drive for the double. And let's see, getting into that rut, because I tell you what, right there, Brian, at the very end, things could go crazy. As Iron Mike Treadwell wins the first 125 moto here in the East.
Good for Iron Mike and the whole KTM squad.
Now, obviously, getting out in this series and winning motos right away is very important because it's a short series. Points are so hard to come by. I know your strategy is to win, but talk about how that makes you feel as a rider, knowing that right out of the gate, you're a winner.
Well, you know, I did the same thing last year. I won the first round at Overton, and then I ended up DNFing like partway through the series. So, I mean, I just want to win races. I figure if I win races, then the championship will come to me.
There it is, Iron Mike, Holman's, Lockhart, Fisher, Goldie, another one of our favorites in the top 5.
Great ride for last year's Rookie of the Year, Joel Serritz, but the story is Eden Hayden was in first, fell back to 9th.
Simon, you finished second. I know you wanted to win this. Talk us through your start and how that moto worked out for you.
Yeah, wanted to win, but you know, second place not too bad. I mean, it's the first round and started fourth and moved my way up to second. Walked past me and I got him back, but it was a pretty good race.
My Honda really got me off the gate. You know, I can't thank Honda enough. Super bike, Max's tires, and I just started picking my way through the pack, and I got caught up to Holman's, and I got by him, and I pumped up a little bit, but you know, hopefully next moto I'm a little more used to it, and hopefully I have something for both Mike and Simon.
Ryan Lockhart looking great in that 125 East. There's the boys up on top of the hill. 250s coming back.
Is sponsored by Orthoflex, the champion's choice for bracing.
Machine Yamaha's factory Phil Lawrence missed one round due to tendinitis. Phil, you're still sitting at 11th though.
Yeah, fortunately I had a couple good rounds before I missed the last round. So I had like a full month off, so that was good for me. You know, Dr. Toy, a doctor in my town, we did a lot of therapy, and I actually got a cortisone shot in my wrist, and it feels 100%. You know, I go ride now, I don't even feel it right now, so hopefully it stays like that, and I can just ride to my full potential.
All right, Brian Rene Trottier with the red flag. Pointing to the line, this is the first 250 moto here from Joliette. Great shot from the back here. The boys, a couple of mechanics getting them ready, a little fanning.
That's it. The mist is starting to lift. The humidity setting in big time. Blair Morgan, national number 2. Look at that beautiful black livery on his helmet.
Trottier to 5 as we head back to the line. Brian, let's bring a few 250s into the living room here. Here we go. Did you see Walker flying around that corner? He got a great start, but look at this, Marco Dubé again with the shot.
Cat-like reflexes for Dubé. He is definitely the whole shot master in this series. Treadwell, we got DeHaan in 4th.
Looks like Dubé starting to open up the gap. Look at this pack of 5 riders battling it up for second place. Looks like Juan leads the pack right now, Brian.
Well, we've also got Blair Morgan and Chad Pedersen duking it out in the top 10. Oh, and one of our KTM riders looks like he landed really hard on the bars.
DeHaan, as you said, Brian, with a great start. He moves into 3rd place past Treadwell. Dubé looks like he's trying to open up the gap a little bit. Juan's not getting off the gas.
Juan's not in a big hurry. This is the first lap into that beautiful step up. Nobody can really clear that, so they land and then bounce again. nice out there.
Looks like Morgan had moved into 4th place, so he's going to have to work up on DeHaan. Waugh's made up some ground as they get through the Garnet corner on Dubé. Yes, there's Morgan right behind DeHaan.
This is a familiar scenario. Dubé being stalked by Waugh. We've seen this many, many times throughout the season, Mark.
Well, we haven't, and we all know how good Dubé is in the whoops. Let's get back to DeHaan and Morgan. Look at the line for Morgan as he blows by DeHaan.
DeHaan got a little bit of a swap there. Everyone trying to keep an even throw to stay on top of those whoops. One ball and it throws off your whole rhythm for the rest of the section. So Morgan capitalizing on DeHaan.
Well, it's no surprise yesterday in practice, Morgan was by far the fastest in the whoops. As we get back to the Export A Rhythm Camp, there goes Treadwell Machine Racing, Factory Bill Lors blast through.
You can see some good battle shaping up. Dubé and Waugh taking completely opposite sides of the track. See all the rest. Look at these lines they're taking. Oh, Waugh could have brake checked Dubé, but he opted not to. Left him some room there. That could have been a nasty collision.
Oh, Dubé was on the gas, but he took that high line, you're right. Really got on the gas and got some great drive coming out of that corner. But look at this Morgan in tow. A 3-pack of Hondas. Brian, Hondas are dominating this series this year. There's no question about it.
Blackfoot, a super strong team. They've got Waugh, Morgan, and Israel. Morgan and Waugh always up front. Dubé on that Diablo Honda, they're really holding up the honor, as well as his teammate DeHaan. Those guys have all been on fire this year.
Well, let's remember that Dubé is on that 450.
Dubé
He's just
off
about
the back. See that?
That guy, I'm telling you what, he's got great balance, and he is not afraid to get on the gas. Look at the pressure that Waugh's putting on him, though. That's when you're going to see the mistakes. A guy that's got great focus, though, is not going to look back, maintain his drive. He's going to be able to hold off that charge.
There goes Dubé. Waugh has a big moment. Look at the skid mark on the track. A huge one.
Oh, look at that. Dubé with the big pancake whip off the top. Does Waugh have on the outside? No way. Four-banger hooking up.
That's a pretty brazen move out front with Waugh right on your heels. Pancakes it sideways. Gives a little look back in the corner at the bottom.
You know what that says to me, Brian? That Dubé's starting to feel a little bit better. Let's see if he can hold up the charge now, because Morgan's going to make this thing interesting. He's definitely the danger man. Look at Waugh on the gas, though. Not following though, Brian. He's not following.
You can see Waugh look right over at Dubé as he came in on him. Always kind of taking different lines, crisscrossing. Morgan's just soaking it all in.
Dubé's getting squirrely in the woods. Look at Morgan up the middle with a big pads. Does he have Waugh? You better believe he does. 2 positions in about 10 feet.
It's a good thing Morgan was not following there. He was right in between those riders. The door opened. He took it. Great move for Blair.
Boy, Blair Morgan is an opportunistic guy. Coming into the whoops, detail the pass, Brian.
Dubé jumps in really far, but look how far Morgan jumps in there. Just awesome. Here we go. Dubé's getting all sideways. Waugh's getting all sideways. Waugh actually almost swaps into Morgan. Look at that. He's got to kind of correct his positioning. Blair holds his line and just hits it on that beautiful kind of left hand off camber.
Did you see the way, though, that he worked himself into the line that Waugh was going to take, and Waugh had to slow down. He did a fantastic job. Waugh did have not run into Blair Morgan at the end of the whoops. Excellent job. Para-Pacific Yamaha's going through whoops with Pedersen and Hagseth.
Hagseth getting really creative, using some obscure lines. Look at this. Waugh mounting a charge around by the mechanics area. High speed downhill into the big step up.
Takes first place away from Morgan. Looks like he forced him high coming down to the pole. I can't believe how rough it is through that straightaway there, Brian.
It's really choppy. It's a different kind of rough. It's a real chop out there. It's not like big whoops per se, but very choppy, and those ruts make it so difficult to, stay upright, let alone race.
Well, that's exactly it. Once you get into one of those lines, you got to stay in that, and that's exactly what happened there. Looks like Morgan bobbled a little bit as we got Treadwell and DeHaan battling it out for 4th place.
They're no strangers to one another. Those guys go hard, motor in, motor out. Israel, bits and pieces falling off. That was his crossbar pad. He actually had a bad crash there earlier.
Look at him battling hard with Jamie Bird. Nice to see young Jamie Bird up in the mix.
Bird's doing well this mode. He's staying upright. That's what these guys got to do. You can't move forward when you're crashing, so really important for these guys to get that out of their heads. Stay on the motorcycle.
Through the FMF off camber. Waugh still out in front of Morgan, but you know what? Blair Morgan is not giving up the ghost. He is on the gas in a big way. Looks like Treadwell and then moving up on Hagseth.
This is the battle for 6th place. Hagseth's been solid throughout practice. Looks over. I don't know if that's good or bad. It is bad for Hagseth as he watches Iron Mike take 6th place off of him.
Well, it's interesting to see those lines there, Brian. If you don't get on the inside, you have to take that outside one because it's so rough. With Dubé coming through that straightaway in 3rd place, one miscalculation in there and you're going down.
Oh yeah, Dubé rock solid though in 3rd. There's DeHaan now mounting something on Hagseth, and he passes him. Hagseth's all over the place, and DeHaan swap, still makes the pass.
Yeah, well, it was interesting. That whoop section is so long. As we get back to the leaders, look at this Waugh coming through. They're lapping Jeremiah Israel.
Yeah.
See the lines they take coming inside. Waugh on the inside. Look at Morgan cross over and take that line away from him and move into first place. What a pass.
What an awesome pass for Morgan. Just set him up. It just took the line away. Waugh had nothing to do there. Morgan is so aggressive. We see these guys race all the time. As Factory Phil now, he passes Dubé. Factory Phil flowing, just awesome on this track. This is what we want to see. We had such expectations from Phil. He's starting to deliver.
Well, and we knew how fast it was in the whoops yesterday. We saw him and we talked about him in our opening. Lightning fast, moves into third place past Dubé.
Yeah, he's been suffering from tendonitis, so for him to overcome that is great. It takes a lot of mental strength. Oh, DeHaan, look at that section into the big steep drop away. DeHaan solid out there today.
There's young Julian Cerny, the KTM pilot, having some problems through the straightaway. We talked about how rough it's getting. Back we are with Pedersen and Lance Smale with a line. Takes him right away from Pedersen.
Smale, the fly in the ointment, he's always a threat on any given day. Once like Dubé, you never know what to expect from these guys. We're going to go trackside with Adam Robinson and our man Galdi.
The machine racing team had a big loss this week with Chuck Mezzi, but Phil Lawrence is definitely picking up the slack this weekend.
Yeah, Phil's having a good ride so far. He's just come back from a little bit of an injury, took some time off, got healed up, so I think things are going to be good.
He just went down, we've seen there. Do you think his arm's bugging him?
I don't know. He's, in practice yesterday, he said it's feeling okay, so I think he just made a slid out a little bit. We'll just have to see what happens.
I hope it works out, Stu.
Thanks.
John Nelson in the machine, happy to see Lawrence back up in the mix when we get back to the woods. Looks like DeHaan's got a line on Treadwell. Look at the line for Dougie DeHaan. Nice work for him.
DeHaan a little sideways makes it work for him. Him and Treadwell, no stranger to one another yet again. DeHaan takes it back.
Look at this, Dusty Cloud almost running into the cameraman. He's got some issues. Grass all over the place. Get back to the step down. Wide Morgan. Morgan still out in front.
This is the Wide Morgan show. They've lapped up to 8th place mark. They just sliced and diced their way right through this field. Really unbelievable.
Well, look at the line choices. Very interesting. Sometimes following. Most of the time not, though, because if Wall wants to get by Morgan, he can't follow. See him on the inside. Pedersen's got to go wide and let these guys by. Side by side, bar to bar. Brian, look at this racing.
This is spectacular. You can see Waugh finding the traction with his front wheel there. He finds traction where nobody else can. I can't believe some of the lines he can maintain.
Look at him getting squirrely through the whoop, so Morgan with a nice line through there.
Everyone seems to be getting squirrely through there. I think when you get it right, it's almost luck. The dancing around, but these riders are so in control. Even when their bikes deviate a bit, they're still holding the gas on. They're coming around, they're lapping these guys like there's no tomorrow. Factory Phil, look at the style. Phil is a big man. He can really push that bike around.
Yeah, he looked great coming over that tabletop, that step up. Okay, back to the boys in first place. Morgan out in front of Waugh as they come into the whoops. Waugh with that inside line. Okay, now we know how fast Morgan is whoops. Now he gets a little squirrely. Look at John Sebastian Waugh on the gas. Does he have him? Takes first place with a great pass.
Terrific job for Morgan. What I want to add is as these motos wind down, the suspensions get really hot. You're seeing them at the start of the race just tracking real true. Towards the end of the moto, they're swamping a bit. These shock absorbers get so red hot. Look at this. They're side by side, handlebar to handlebar. Through the mechanics area again. Look at the runs. Look at Morgan. Look at Waugh. Unreal.
Okay, here we go again going to that corner. Morgan squares on. Does he have him? Oh, what a pass. He took it away from Waugh again.
Morgan passed Waugh there twice. A little more aggressive that time. There was nobody there to interfere. No Israel, no nobody. Morgan goes right in front of him. Oh, here it is. Look at this in slow-mo. Coming around, Morgan skips the rut. Comes up right beside him into the wheelie position with the gas on. Look at this. Absolutely grip to grip coming down there.
Well, it's amazing how close they were. You're right, Brian, with how rough it is. They didn't click handlebars and go
Here's
down.
where it all happens.
Did you see Morgan get on the gas?
That's where it all happens. Right there. See that move. Waugh goes a little wide. Has to actually let off the gas a bit. Morgan bringing that aggressive snowcross style of the motocross. Just, that guy he is the Superman. Says so right on his pants.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. On his final approach, number 2, Blair Morgan on that 4 Blackfoot Honda Canada CR250 taking the checkered flag. This guy's got to be on top of the world. That's exactly what he needed, was the big moto win.
Blair Morgan with the ride of his life. Teammate Waugh second. Marco Dubé hangs tough for third. Stay tuned. Coming back with interviews.
All right, Blair, first off, awesome ride. That is the Blair from the old, definitely. You and John Sebastian put on a show. You guys are
30 seconds ahead, everybody. You mentioned yesterday that you needed some guys to get in between you, but you definitely got those 3 points you needed.
Yeah, it helps every bit, I guess. I want to go out there and just win some races, you know. I just feel really good right now. Bikes are working awesome. The Honda Canada, Blackfoot, Michelin, TMR bikes are awesome. And yeah, it's difficult out there. It's really muggy and humid, and track's really wet and ruddy, so it's pretty difficult out there.
Castro leaderboard after the first 250 moto. Morgan and Watt, no kidding. How about Dubé steals third from Lawrence? Lawrence crashes on the last lap. What about Hagseth? Crashes back to 10th.
Marco, once again, the whole shot. Good start for you. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, I had a great start. I was there, but I got hump on right away. I don't know. I feel pretty tight up there in the pre-lap. I kind of crashed and tweaked my wrist again. I was sore. I don't know. You know, it's frustrating a little bit when guys like that pass me in GSR and Morgan, and you know they pass me in the same loop section. And you know, trying to hang on up there and try to do my best for my sponsor.
Moving into the second year of their full assault on the Canadian race scene, Austrian-based KTM is starting to find their mark. KTM Canada has quickly established themselves as not only a contender in this series, but also a team that could win a championship. The roots of this racing tree are a pair of Americans, well known in the annals of Canadian racing. The Superfly Lance Mail will again navigate his gangly frame through the ruts and obstacles in the 250 class, while East Coast legend Iron Mike Treadwell will test his measure in the 250 class as well, vie for the 125 East title, a position he fell just shy of a year ago. Mixed in with the veteran Americans is a field of fiery Canadians, with the likes of Westerners Nicky Dunn and Julian Cerny. How about East Coast specialist Ian Hayden and hair scramble Paris-Dakar rally warrior Guy Giroux? The KTM unit has a mixture of experience and raw talent. With the addition of BMG Sports and OGO Accessories as the lead sponsors, KTM Canada has settled in with Fox Apparel, Smith Goggles, Pirelli Tires, and a long list of quality helpers. While the past may be littered with the remains of the Big Four, the future says 5, as KTM will soon hold a place in Canadian MX history.
The Extreme Sports team girls are on a mission. We're taking a booty break. 125's on the line.
Hot coming in last year, the 125 East. I don't think you finished where you wanted. Tell us what your expectations are this year.
What I want to do is just come in the first round and just come in swinging, you know. I don't want anybody to intimidate me, put me down or anything like that. I'm going to ride my own race. I'm going to ride as hard as I can every moto, every lap for the full 20 minutes in two laps. And I'm going to ride the 250 and we'll see.
Gotta love that fish, eh, Bri? There we go. Second 125 moto brought to you by FMF. Feel the power.
Look at the rain, it's coming down. There's umbrellas, look at the sky, pretty daunting. Look at all the open gates, guys opting not to ride. Guys got hurt in the first moto. Usually it's a full line, but we got a few guys sitting this one out.
And the gate is down, Brian. Let's see what happens. Treadwell and Fisher and Holman's got a great start. Looks like Lockhart. Looks like Sarah's on the outside. Boy, it's starting to get messy out there already.
Those guys on the outside were way wide. I think they're going to get shut out here in the second turn. Holman's almost low slides. Fisher with that foam on his helmet to keep the mud off, and Treadwell in second.
So Fisher in first place. You know, you want to talk about getting a good start. This is the race to get a good start. You want to be up front. Look at this. Hayden gets by Holman's and moves into third place, now second place.
Aggressive move on his teammate Treadwell. He just out-powers him up the hill. And look at the move he's making on Fisher. Looks like Fisher actually held him up there.
But Treadwell on the outside takes care of Hayden, and now he's going to get by Fisher. What a great line. He was carrying a lot of speed through there.
No one jumping the double. It's just too slippery. No traction available. Treadwell moves from third to first. What a great job for Treadwell.
Okay, so Treadwell dropping down into the valley. Fisher in tow in second. Already starting to get a little dicey. But you notice in places they're still starting to get traction where their tires hook it up.
Well, you can really see the rain. It's starting to come down harder and harder. Holman's in fourth. Look at the whoop section. This will get tricky as it gets muddier and muddier.
Yeah, no question, because the top's going to get real slippery, and then down in those valleys it's going to pool up with water. Treadwell, though, looking pretty good. And Fisher with a nice line through there.
Fisher, an amazing mud rider. He's proved that before. Fisher can ride any condition, and I think that's what is one of his strong points. He doesn't care. Hard packed sand. He can win in all that stuff.
Holman's looking good in third place right now, maintaining drive. Somebody's got a problem. Okay, the whoops have already taken some prisoners, Brian.
Well, you know, we walked the track. We really looked at this. There's a steep angle off the side of this whoop section down to that double. This is a spot you don't want to crash. Luckily, this rider didn't go down into oncoming traffic.
Number 717, Pierce Chamberlain on that YZ250X got some big problems. Okay, Treadwell in the lead. Fisher on the outside. Does he have the drive? through the rain and the mud. Fisher takes the lead.
That was just a question of more speed. He just out-throttled Treadwell on the outside. Gets a little bit of air off of these jumps. There's no way they can jump this stuff in these conditions as the rain just does not let up. Look at it out there.
Oh, it's pouring down here. Galdi now has got some problems. Look at how deep that rut that he's in. Here's that pass, Brian. Give me the line on Fisher.
Coming into this Kawasaki corner, right there is where it happened. He dove in, had his leg up nice and high in that rut, kept the gas on. Right here, he's got so much more momentum than Mike. And that's what's important in mud, keeping the momentum up. If you slow down, it's so much harder to get your speed back up because there's so much wheel spin out there.
Brian, look at this at the top of the downhill. Treadwell's gone down. As he gets his bike up, looks like he's back in the race. I didn't see Homans anywhere maintain second place.
Yeah, didn't lose any positions. That's what happens when it gets spread out like this. Treadwell, that was a big crash too. He went over that thing in midair and crashed on the landing. It was a hard landing for Treadwell. Gets up, doesn't lose position. Look at this. Fisher with a big swat.
Well, it's a good thing that Treadwell didn't fall coming down the hill because they would have had some huge problems. Look at Fisher doubling out there.
Fisher only one of a handful of leaders doubling that section mark. Very technical out here in the mud.
Look at the rain coming down as we get back to Mike Treadwell in second place. Simon Homans has made up all the ground when Treadwell went down as they doubled through. Nice line for them.
Homans cased it pretty hard there. He landed on the face. There goes the foam off of Fisher's head. I don't think he really needs it now. He's so far out front. And the rain coming down is kind of washing some of the mud off.
Well, that foam pad would have been so heavy as Ryan Lockhart makes up on Simon Homans. Like, oh, you want to talk about a deep rut.
Oh, Lockhart just stuck the nose there. He was making an aggressive move, just stuck the front end in the rut, almost crashed. You see the whole back end of the bike come up. Couple guys down. That looks like Chatwood again. He had his problems in the first moto. Guys are starting to get littered all over the big uphill.
Look at the rain coming down. The flaggers having a hard time getting out of the way. Ian Hayden right now with the goggles off, soldiering through that really rough straightaway section.
It's got to be tough out there with no goggles, but it's even tougher with them on. I bet you 90% of the field have their goggles off as Treadwell and Homans mix it up. Treadwell crashed again. We had a report. And now look at Homans, made up all kinds of ground.
Well, you know what? You look at those guys, and they're not even worried about the conditions. They're just getting on the gas, finding the lines. Treadwell holds up a huge charge from Homans.
Into the whoops. Homans with the same line. Gets a bit of a slide. Look at this. He's going off track. He's right out of the gas. Look how much he had to slow down. Look at the ground he lost on Iron Mike.
He did, but that was very important that he did. Oh, look at that swap out.
Oh, that looks like, I believe that's young Kyle Snellgrove. He's a real up-and-comer, fast young rider, but that just shows you how easy it's to get bitten out there, and that was a bit of a hard impact.
Fisher running into Lappers, just about hit him on the way up the uphill. Again, if you lose momentum on that uphill, you're toast. Back to Treadwell and Homans.
Treadwell all over the place. There go the Gobs. Treadwell, one of the last holdouts. It doesn't matter how good your system is. There's only so much they can take in these conditions.
Well, you saw Homans go up there and take the high line. Looks like he was trying to get a little drive out there. Treadwell maintaining some great lines. Great balance in this rain.
Water flying everywhere. The puddles are starting to form on this track. All these low sections are starting to pool. Look at this. Look at Homans, right through a real deep section, manages to paddle along, makes his way up.
Throttle pin, Brian, too. Throttle pin.
These conditions, I want to add, are so hard on the motorcycles, especially the 125s. You see a lot of seizures on these 125 bikes. Fisher Suzuki holding up well, as is the rest of the front runners.
Well, it's interesting to watch Derek Fisher ride. It looks like he's got way more speed than anybody else out there. And I guess that's what happens when you're out front. Back to Simon Homans in third place.
I think Fisher's just crashed less. Every one of these guys has crashed in this race. Look at Homans right off. Oh, he comes together with a flag personnel. She's up. She's okay. That was just a glance there.
Unbelievable.
Little close to the track.
Well, that's right. You get into one of those sections, you can't slow down. There's nothing you can do. It's Fisher. Look at him going up the uphill. Listen. No, Ryan, there's the momentum we talked about.
Can he do it? Oh, listen to that. I can smell the clutch from here. Oh, and he makes it. That has got to be the hardest part on this track right now.
Well, when Derek Fisher watches the tapes from these races, Brian, that's the spot right there where he's going to say, that won me the race. You've got to be kidding me. Maybe it's going to be that one.
The water pressure there blew his leg right off the bike. That was just coming to that puddle so fast. It's happened to me. It just knocks you right off the motorcycle, no matter how hard you're hanging on.
You know how deep it is. Mike Island with some huge problems on the uphill. Back to Ian Hayden again, who almost falls off the bike. Memories of Walton from last year, Brian, or what? This looks worse to me.
Oh, these hills, this is atrocious. I don't know what they're going to do here. The 250 race, they might have to bypass that hill because that's just carnage.
Yeah, nobody's getting up. Back to Mike Treadwell, who's in second place. He's got a couple of good lines out here right now. Look, oh, Treadwell goes down. He didn't even have much speed going.
Just shows how difficult it is out here. Iron Mike can throw these motorcycles around almost any track, any size, any brand. The guy is an awesome, talented rider, falling down like a rank amateur, showing you. Can't stress enough how difficult these conditions are.
Well, you've said it enough times that the rain is the big equalizer, but it does not seem to be hampering Fisher at all through huge puddles up this slippery hill. There's guys all over the place. He's just navigating up like no problem.
Well, I don't know if there's no problem there, boy. He was all over the place, just paddling and pinning that throttle clutch. Oh, it's just mayhem.
Holman's in third place, maintaining whatever balance he can. Brian, this track has turned into a can of soup.
It's survival, that's what it is. Survival of the fittest. See, even these leaders have crashed several times. They're still leading the race. You can bet all the guys throughout this field have been up and down like a bunch of yo-yos. Travers, it is brutal out there, my friend.
Derek Fisher, we saw him getting his last lap flag. He only has one more lap to bring it home into victory. No, Fisher finally goes down, Brian. It's taken this long, but he's finally got down. I don't even know what to say. Look at him. He's just covered in muck. It keeps the bike going, though. How about those apples?
Yeah, awesome. I saw he had his hand on the clutch. I figured it was running. Sure enough, it is. He's had that tear-off stuck on his thumb the whole race. Obviously not bothered him much out there.
Back to the uphill, Proc Navy.
Oh, no, Mike Garland. I bet you he wishes he was somewhere else today. He's had a terrible motor.
Oh, unbelievable. Did you see that? Proc Navy's just lying there waiting for the skies to open up. Someone take me out of here, he said. Fisher through the puddle on his final approach. Let's see how he handles his last run. Guys are littered all over the place.
One more corner for Fisher and everything's going to be all right. There he is, arm in the air, takes it, checkers. Coors Light Suzuki team got to be happy with that. Fisher takes it in the most atrocious conditions. He is a man with a future.
Iron Mike, an unbelievable moto out there for you. I had no idea you were such a mud specialist, my friend.
I didn't really. Well, I've always thought being in New England, we have a lot of mud races, but I don't know. I thought I would do a little better than. I mean, I did good. Followed 3 times. I didn't really think I would fall 3 times, but I was cautious and just bided my time and just tried to get up there and get some valuable points.
Coming into the winner's circle here, you're surprised that they let that moto go as long as they did. Talk to me about it.
Well, I kind of was because there were so many guys down all over the track, and I mean, there was just mayhem everywhere. The ruts are so deep, and the puddles in them are so deep that it's splashing us in the eyes, and you can't see anything. I mean, it's like a gray haze the whole time you're out there. You're just going like this and trying to see, and it's tough.
Iron Mike packing the 1-2 punch to the rest of these guys. Takes the overall. Number 20, Derek Fisher, a young hopeful for the Eastern title, wins in the absolute most extreme conditions. Derek, tell us what happened out there.
Well, my main focus was to get a good start, and that's what I did. I got pulled out with a hole shot. I kind of moved into second, but I didn't want to stay there, so I charged harder, and I got by. I knew if I got by Treadwell that I would have clear sailing. I wouldn't have to worry about my goggles getting clogged up or anything. So that was one of the most interesting races. The uphill, I was freaking every time I come around there. I was just like, oh crap, here we go. I'm going up this hill. So I just tried to stay as smooth as I could and stay up. I knew if I stayed up, I could win.
Castro leaderboard, second 125 moto. It was a nightmare. How about Guy Giroux in fourth? Great ride for him. Maxime Lapointe with fifth, a great ride as well. And Justin Thompson in seventh.
This moto in the rain was just unbelievable. The track was treacherous. You managed to pull off a third, which was awesome.
Yeah, I just tried to be smart. I had a pretty good start. I was up in third, and then I fell twice, but I just tried to ride, put my head down, and my stock 2003 KTM worked awesome.
Well, you know that every guy on the podium crashed at least once in that race, so you weren't alone, Ian.
Yeah, it was definitely wet out there. I actually sunk my bike once, but we just got her out and going, and just kept my head up high.
How about the riders littered all over the track? Was that ever a factor for you? Did you ever hit one and risk falling, one of these lapped riders?
Yeah, actually on the steep hill up there on the track, I actually jumped over one guy, landed on his bike for traction, but I just had to stop and wait till it was clear, and then just made my way through.
That must have really hooked up good when you landed on his bike, because the mud was just brutal.
Yeah, my Pirelli tires hooked up real good in that Kawasaki, so it was definitely good.
Memories of Walton. The boys are having fun out on the hills. Travers is coming up with an update.
Well, we're with head referee from the French CMRC, René Trachet. René, the grounds have turned into a bit of a quagmire, my friend. You had to make a difficult decision. We had to cancel that last 250 moto. Give us your take on it.
Yeah, we're very sorry about that, but the problem is it's regarding safety, and also we have lightning and things like this, so we can't take any chance. So we decided to cancel that 250 Pro second baller.
Well, with that moto canceled, Blair Morgan was asked to take a brand new ski-doo rev out for a tour of this track. This is going to be awesome. Blair Morgan, multi-time world snowcross champion. No stranger to these machines. Sit back and enjoy and crank up the volume. Airborne Blair Morgan's going to put on a show. They finish out the day with a little rain here, so why don't we get rid of the motorcycle and bring out the sled?
Yeah, there's so much water out there. It actually didn't even overheat or anything. Just cooled the heat exchangers underneath, and skidoo people I ride for. The guy wanted me to ride it, so I did. It was cool.
Quick question, what do you feel more comfortable on, the motorcycle or the sled?
You know what? I'd probably be a toss-up, you know? Like, I was able to go through the mud like nothing out there, but bikes, you can stick in the ruts and you might go over the bars. This thing, you can just go over top of everything.
Well, you're the king, Superman Blair Morgan. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for putting on the show.
Thanks.
Our Castro leaderboard shows a race of attrition in the 125s. Treadwell edges out Fisher. Hayden hangs tough. Guy Giroux, Perry Dakar competitor, finishes 10th.
Moving into the 250s, the Inside Motorcycles Top Canadian Award is a lock with Waugh and Morgan. How about Dougie DeHaan moving into 3rd place? Hagsted's down to 5, and Mesley's still in 9th. Okay, Brian, it looks to me like the saying "a river runs through it" would hold here, except for the fact that we're inside the Blackfoot tent.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. There's a swamp right under this covered awning. Blackfoot team, I think they're pretty happy that this race was called today. I mean, it came down to the wire. The referee actually sounded the air horn, which is 15 minutes to the line. The guys started marching out, and then the lightning opened up and the thunder. So the race was called right at the midnight hour.
Excellent decision by the CMRC rest. Quickly, we'll get into the racing. The 125s went off without a hitch, although the last one was pretty interesting. Mike Treadwell showing his dominance. I tell you what, Simon Holman's had a great race in the first one, fell in the second one. Derek Fisher was the real surprise in that second moto with that confidence brewing in the mud.
Oh, absolutely. He needed that. He's a young rider, and he really needs to have the right people behind him and the right bike, and he needs confidence. That win is going to do so much for his Eastern swing. I think he's a favorite to upset Homans as well as Treadwell.
Yeah, I think so too. Quickly, we'll get into the 250s. What we wanted, we saw. Now we've had it 3 rounds in a row. Waugh and Morgan going back-to-back, swapping the lead 3 or 4 times within each race. Could it get any better? I think we're personally witnessing history.
We've waited years for these two to mix it up. I mean, it just never seemed to work. You know, one guy would get a good start, one guy would get a bad start. One guy would, you know, win the race, one guy would be mired up in the pack or tangled up with a lap or something. So we just never seen them race like that. 3 rounds in a row, it is history, and it's just making my whole season seeing those guys swap leads. You know, someone made a comment that they're just trying to put on a show for the fans. Absolutely not. These guys are hammering hard. There's a rivalry under this tent. They each want to be top dog for Blackfoot, no question.
Yeah, no question about it. And again, missing Darcy Lange, I think if Darcy was here, he would be in the mix in every single moto. So we're not going to see him now, probably not for a couple more rounds. Anyway, let's put a close to this wet mess here in Joliette. They put on a good show for us here today, but unfortunately, Mother Nature rules. I'm going to say goodbye for Brian Coster, Ryan Gold, who had a great day racing. Mark Travers, we'll see you next week on the East Coast.
Coors Light presents Extreme Sports Series Canadian Motocross Championships, sponsored by FMF, Feel the Power, Castrol, and Thor Motocross Apparel, distributed exclusively by Parts Canada.